What if you had the smartest Wi-Fi? If you did, it'd be Xfinity and it'd come with their best state-of-the-art equipment. It would boost speeds to the devices that needed them most, whether you were streaming, gaming, or gaming while pretending to work. It would even power your mobile connection so you could bring faster, secure Wi-Fi speeds with you where you use it most. If you had the smartest Wi-Fi, everything would work together seamlessly to keep you connected. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions
Hello and
apply.
welcome to another edition of the Jayhawker Podcast. As always, we are presented by Xfinity. Get the nation's smartest Wi-Fi only from Xfinity. Imagine that. And by the University of Kansas Health Systems. And we are getting ready for more postseason play. For the fourth time ever, the Kansas volleyball team are on to the Sweet 16. They're headed up to Lincoln, Nebraska to take on the powerhouse Nebraska Cornhuskers. And we're going to talk about it with one of the freshmen on the team who's played in every single match this season. Logan Bell joins us. Logan, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Well, I'm doing great. You're very, very calm about this. I would think pretty exciting stuff.
Yes.
Your first year here at the University of Kansas. Tell me what the excitement level is like for you guys inside the program right now with what you've already done this postseason and what you've got lying ahead.
Yeah, we've made some huge strides so far this season, and going into this week and this match, it's a dream. And to play in front of a bunch of fans at Nebraska, that's a big volleyball state, it's going to be exciting. Big
program. They're number one in the tournament right now, so as the great Ric Flair once said, to be the best, you got to beat the best. You guys get the opportunity to do that right now. Before we get into this, I'd like to let our audience get to know you a little bit. Those that maybe haven't so far. So you're a freshman here, as I mentioned. Played in every match this season. And I understand that the recruiting process with Coach Ulmer goes back to his time at Oregon.
Correct.
Before he came here, and then you decided to come here as well. Can you kind of take me back through that timeline and how things worked out to land you here in Lawrence?
Yeah. Well, going through my first recruiting process, I was getting mainly recruited as a libero, and I really love hitting. That was just like my dream. And he had in the past recruited a player, and she started out as a libero, and then she became one of the best hitters in the MLV now. And so I really looked up to that and to admire how he has really believed in a type of player like me and similar that way. But I also love beach volleyball. So then I was going to play beach and indoor volleyball at Oregon. And then when he transferred to here, I looked at other schools, but I just was not finding what I was liking. And again, he just instilled that belief in me and my abilities. And so that ultimately drew me here.
Okay, so the part about being a libero, so, okay, I'm saying it right. I understand you've done that with the youth national team, the U19s.
Yes.
First of all, tell me about that process and maybe what you gained from that, but also did you feel like, is that where you got most of your work there? Is that position? Yes.
I was an outside hitter for club and high school, so I just played libero for fun with the USA Volleyball, which was an amazing opportunity. And at first, when I was going through their training series, I was as an outside hitter. And then their head director, her name's Courtney, she was like, well, when you get into the recruiting process, let me know if you want to switch to libero, because I know you're getting recruited as a libero. So, let me know if you want to switch. And so I was like, I think I'll just switch. I'll get more reps. And the outside hitter line was way too long for me, and I just want to get as many reps as I can. So I was like, I think I'm going to switch to libero, and I ultimately made the national team, which was such an honor to represent the country, and made it twice this past summer, and more goals to accomplish more in that area.
But that's not what you wanted to do when you got to college.
No.
Why not?
I love hitting. I love being able to do it all. I would rather touch the ball twice than once.
Okay. All right. So in other sports, you might I'm a big soccer fan, so I follow a lot of soccer. And you'll maybe talk to a player that they play out of position, so to speak. But then in the process of doing that, they learn more about the position they normally play because they see it from a different perspective. Does that happen for you in volleyball at all?
100%.
Playing libero, did that help you learn maybe some other things about
100%.
what you need to do when you play outside hitter or something like that?
100%. And I put myself into myself's shoes when I'm hitting of what kind of shots would I would do with this type of ball, or where would I go with the speed, or what kind of shots. So it helps make my decisions easier and reading easier because I can almost predict what they're going to do.
That's really interesting stuff. Now, and to go back to the timeline, from what I understand, Kristen Klein, who was at Oregon,
Yes.
Helped you in the recruiting process there, and
Yep.
then came here. How instrumental was she in your decision to come here as well?
Yeah. Oh, she's a fiery player, and I love her personality. We're actually roommates, so I love her so much. And she has set a really good example, but also been somebody I can lean on. I reach out to her all the time when I was going through the recruiting process the second time, and I had so many questions, and I was like, I need to talk to somebody. So I just reached out to her. She would respond almost instantly, and it just made me feel like at home. And to have somebody that I knew was going to be by my side felt so comforting and made the decision way easier.
Does that translate on the court or into practice, the kind of relationship you have and that trust that you're talking about?
1,000%.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, I went from 100% to 1,000%. My
1,000%.
questions are getting better. I like that.
Yeah.
So you make the decision to come here. Coach Ulmer, when I was looking back at some of the things he had to say when they landed you as a recruit, he called you one of a kind and talked about your IQ for the game. And that obviously, and it was funny because when I was looking at his quotes and listening to them, it almost seemed like it was hard for him to put a finger on what exactly you are as a player, because he started to compliment one thing, then he complimented something like positioning defensively, the ability to hit the ball, the ability, and then like, it was like, she seems like she's kind of good at everything.
Yeah.
How do you identify yourself as a player? Do you want to be considered one of those like all-around type players, or are there some things like, no, I want people to look at me and say, this is what I do best?
I want to be a volleyball player. I don't want to be an outside hitter. I want to be a libero. I want to be a great volleyball player. And I think those are the players that go the furthest in their careers. I think that helps a lot. My mom was a college volleyball player. She played at Miami, University of Miami, Ohio, and she was a lefty setter. So I started out setting. I didn't switch to being an outside hitter until I was a freshman in high school. And then that's when I later, junior, senior year, started doing my libero stuff. So being able to do every position has ultimately landed me on the court, and it makes me a better volleyball player. And I think also beach volleyball, you have to do everything when you're on the beach, but you also gain IQ and shots and skills that you can translate onto the indoor court. And that makes you a better volleyball player.
So you've referenced beach volleyball a couple of times.
Yes.
I don't believe you grew up next to a beach.
No. I actually played beach volleyball in a barn built by Amish in the middle of a cornfield.
Tell me more. You've got my attention.
Yeah. It's a little town, and we had a beach league called iBeach 31, and it's off of Route 31, and there's a couple girls. One girl who plays at the University of Pittsburgh, she reclassified. She's 17, and she's playing for Pitt right now. But we would be partners together, and we'd go and we'd train with her mom, and then a couple of other people. There's one pro beach volleyball player. He played for the AVP, and he would coach us too. And so I just go and take lessons, and that's how I grew my love for the game. And then I travel for Thanksgiving and during the summer, and when I wasn't having indoor club tournaments, and I just go and play beach, and it's the best. You get to be on the beach, get tan, listen to music, and play volleyball. It's the best thing ever.
If I remember, Coach Ulmer has quite a beach volleyball background. Am I right about
He's
that?
at Long Beach, and he actually encouraged a lot of the girls at Oregon to play beach because it helps so much with their indoor skills. So, and then a couple of the times, I think they did have a spring practice where they went out onto the beach courts here at KU.
Okay.
So,
yeah,
it's fun.
All right. So, growing up playing beach volleyball at a beach barn built by the Amish.
Correct.
That wasn't something that I was prepared to ask you about, so I'm learning. This is great. And you mentioned that Kristen and you are roommates. I believe it's a crew of you that are roommates,
Yep,
right?
Reese and Ryan.
Okay, and you guys are into watching movies a lot.
Oh, yeah, every single night.
Okay, give me like a top 2 or 3 that you guys, movies that you have seen this semester that you hadn't seen before.
Well, I showed Chris Mrs. Doubtfire. She'd never seen Mrs. Doubtfire, and I was like, that's a shame. Like, I have to show you. What are your parents doing? So I had to show her that one. One I'm still hoping to show them is Ace Ventura. Me and Reese love Ace Ventura.
Yeah.
And then there was another one. They've never seen It's a Wonderful Life.
Well, this is the time of year.
Yeah,
to see
that's what I
that.
said. But they didn't like that it was black and white. So
well,
that's another shame. But
yeah.
there's so
probably
many.
like a modern colored version of it, or
Probably.
whatever they call it, they digitized version,
Chris has not seen The Notebook.
That's funny because the first time I ever even heard of that movie, my wife called me hysterically crying. I was out of town for work,
so
and I was
sad.
like, "What happened?" She's
It's
like, "I just saw a movie."
Yeah,
yeah.
But we've seen a lot of movies. There's so
kind of
many.
old school with some of your picks here. I got to be honest.
I was raised right.
Yeah. Okay. So your parents heavy influence on your.
Shout out to them.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. And I know you mentioned that your mom was a volleyball player. Your dad was a baseball player, right? Played some professional baseball.
Lefty pitcher, and then my mom was a lefty setter. So none of me or my siblings are actually left-handed.
Are they disappointed?
Yeah, a little bit. They're like, "How did this happen?" But athletes, that's what we grew up doing. And I was a 3-sport athlete growing up. I've played every sport under the sun. And
so what were the other two?
Softball and basketball.
Yeah.
I was a big softball player as a catcher.
Did you enjoy those two sports as much as volleyball, or was it that you're just, this is my best sport, or did you enjoy volleyball the most?
I think a lot of it was to avoid burnout, but with like basketball, I did it more for like social. A lot of my friends play basketball, but then I kind of grew away from that one, wanting to get stronger for volleyball, so I took up CrossFit. That happened around my sophomore year of high school, but softball ended my freshman year when it just collided too much with travel, and I played for a big travel softball team out of Indiana, and it was kind of disappointing. I felt bad for my dad because he was a big baseball player, and I felt like I was like letting him down, but softball was my like second and first love. Yeah.
I mean, you got to follow your own path. But at the end of the day, it is kind of a shame in today's world. It's like you got to pick at an early age what you're going to focus on.
It is so sad, and you don't see a lot of 3-sport athletes. And now I feel like 2-sport athletes in college are becoming more popular. Yeah. There's a couple girls that play basketball and volleyball, and I know we just committed a girl that plays both. So. Okay. It's becoming a little bit more popular,
hey, the best baseball player in the world is a two-way player, position and all that stuff, pitching and hitting and all that. So maybe
makes you better.
Yeah, no kidding. And I'm kind of curious about that, having highly successful athletes as parents. Mm-hmm. A lot of people, I think, look at that and go, well, then you've got the God-given ability, or you've got the genetics, that make you a good athlete. I've been around enough sports families, to know that it's more than that. A lot of it's about the mentality. And you learn from your parents what it takes, right, to compete at that level.
100%.
I can see the look on your face. What are some of the biggest lessons maybe that your mom and dad have taught you about how to compete from a mentality standpoint at a high level?
Yeah, I think competitiveness is in my blood at this point, and we can't even play board games in my house without wanting to kill each other. So that, from a mentality point, is winners win. Like, you're gonna find a way to win if you truly want it bad enough, and if that's working hard, getting extra reps, doing whatever to help like your mental side of the game. I think my parents have been a big believer in not forcing me into a sport. Like, my mom wasn't like, you have to play volleyball. She was like, I want you to do what you love, because then you're going to work harder at it. Amen. And same with my dad. He wasn't forcing me to do softball. And he would always sit in the outfield because he hated the parents that would always scream. So he would always sit and read his newspaper in the outfield. And we'd be like, where's Corey? And like, he's just out there, But I feel like I wasn't pressured into a sport. So a lot of my love just became playing outside. My parents were like, get outside, go play outside. So then I'd hit the ball against the garage door, and I'd ask my mom, like, can you catch for me? I want to set. And that's when she would give me a few hints, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to work on that. And just more of like trying to be a perfectionist at my sport, that drove me to love the game even more.
You hear that, kids? Get out of the house after you watch this podcast, though, of course. All right, so let's get back to the here and now. Mm-hmm. You've gone through now a freshman year. Most of the time when you hear a college athlete talk about that step up in levels, by the time you get to the end of the season, you're starting to realize, wow, this is a longer season than what I'm used to. The intensity is a little bit longer. How have you held up through the course of your first campaign as a college athlete?
Well, mentally, I would say my roommates have taken me under their wing and just been there for everything. I mean, they've helped me out in every aspect. Academics, getting around campus, didn't know what I was doing for the first month And I'm just not very good directionally, so that definitely helped. But like our trainers and Luke, our weight coach, he would be like, Logan, you want to come in for a second weight class? I'm like, yeah, heck yeah. So I go to class and I come back and we do some extra mobility, some chain squats, and he's just making me stronger, and I love that. And it's gonna help me last longer, stay healthier, and I'm not feeling it. I feel like as much as maybe other athletes are probably where else, because we have such great staff and resources.
I remember talking to a couple of your teammates early in the season. You guys had a pretty tough schedule, right? Mm-hmm. And I remember they were talking about that's going to make you battle tested for later in the year. And here you are. What was that process like? And do you feel like going through those challenges early in the season, obviously when you play in the Big 12, you're going to face a challenging, schedule anyway, but how much has that helped you guys, the schedule that you've played this year?
100%. It's been a huge factor into, I don't even think the crowd affects us that even much. Like, it doesn't bother us.
Yeah.
When somebody gets super loud, we're like, all right, we're going to stay calm here. Like, we've done this before. Mm-hmm. But those long road trips, it's like we're not going to feel that kind of fatigue because that was way in the past and we're stronger now. But I really just owe it all to, I think we all owe it to our weight coaches, our trainers, and our coaches. Like, they did such a great job of taking care of us, especially when we were going through that long preseason.
Take me back to the win against Miami. Mm-hmm. First of all, what was the atmosphere like for that one? And what are maybe your fondest memories of that, that victory to get you to the Sweet 16?
Yeah. Oh man. I would say from the first point, the entire gym was electric. And I think you could feel it on the floor. Like, say I was like touching the floor, you could feel the vibrations. It was just truly electric. And when you score a point, you can see the camera shake. Everybody was on their feet at all times, every single point. When we scored, it just felt surreal like that. And to have that momentum too in the crowd, it was a huge, huge helper in us getting that match. So.
Yeah, and I mean, you get a win against a good Miami team that had a good record in a good league. Now you take on Nebraska.
Yep.
And we know they're a juggernaut. They have a great atmosphere at their matches as well. And to kind of go back to your point, I've talked to so many competitors that say, look, if you gave me the choice between playing in an empty gym on the road where there's no atmosphere or playing in a packed house, even if they're 100%. Cheering against us,
yep,
you'd rather be in the packed house, right?
Yeah. I was just talking to Kristen about this today, and we're like, I hate it when there's nobody at our games. I feel so motivated when there's like a full gym. It's so motivating and fun. Like, that's what you look forward to doing. You don't look forward to playing in front of nobody.
Yeah.
That's boring.
If you're a competitor, you want a chance to test yourself against the best, right?
Exactly.
So what are you guys thinking? Are you looking at this as like, hey, we got nothing to lose. This is a big opportunity. What's the mindset as you head up to Lincoln?
Be fearless.
Yeah.
That's our mindset.
You guys, is that the word you've been throwing around a lot?
No. I would say in my mind, at least.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. I like it.
I think we haven't been using the word, but it's in our minds. We're going to go there, and we're the underdogs. I mean, we have truly nothing to lose, but we have big goals, and we want to accomplish those. And
just to kind of wrap things up here a little bit, when you think about your decision to come here, how much of the opportunity to play in matches like this was a part of your thought process? And I guess just, the idea that, hey, you guys are building the type of program right now that belongs on this stage. When you made that decision, if somebody had told you, hey, by the way, you're going to be playing in Sweet 16 against Nebraska your first year, what would you have said?
What? Okay.
Yeah.
Bring it on. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
And then just a message maybe to KU fans, if they haven't had a chance to watch the volleyball program yet, by the way, you're missing out because it's incredibly entertaining to watch volleyball, whether you're in person or on television.
Yes.
What would your message be to the KU fans out there that might be tuning in on Friday?
You guys are the best, and you bring so much energy, and rock chalk.
Rock chalk. Logan, thank you so much for the time. Best of luck to you and the whole program on Friday.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, that is Logan Bell, and that's going to do it for this edition of the Jayhawker Podcast. Again, we're presented by Xfinity and the University of Kansas Health Systems. We'll see you next time.